Hello and welcome to CineBites, a cinematic culinary podcast where today we are diving into the Muppets movie. Get ready for a hoppy and funny adventure as we get into this food and into this movie. Feast your eyes.
Welcome back. It is 2024.
New year.
New year, new me.
New year, new me, baby.
Queen.
Let's go.
Slay.
Wait a minute.
It's New. I think that's probably my New Year's. Well, we can get into that in a section.
Your New Year's resolution is to slay.
Well, slay, one, queen, and two is just kind of learning new hip lingo that I'm not quite familiar with and try to use it in a context that does make me sound really old. I think maybe that statement in itself makes me sound really old, where I'm just wanting to learn the new lingo. That makes me sound even older.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us talk about. Okay, so actually, before we get into that, let us talk about kind of the new structure. We kind of left you all with a
new year, new podcast.
Yeah, so left you all with a cliffhanger at the end of our last podcast, and we promised that we would bring new and exciting material, but also new format. And so to kind of bring you up to speed, Adam and I had a conversation about how we want to look, or how we want the podcast to look, and how we want to go, or it to look going forward. And one of the biggest things is really just being intentional with what we do and what we talk about, but also keep it entertaining for y'all. So we know some podcasts, unless you're already super rich or super famous, you can listen to them for hours on end. But for us, we just want to keep it personal, and we want to keep it entertaining. So by doing so, you will see the podcasts are a little bit shorter, but it also, I think, works for your schedule more likely. Some people may, as opposed to an hour, may have 30 minutes with us, and that is, I think, something for all of us who are in our busy lives to have just that little bit of time with each other.
Yeah, and I think it's really a matter of we want quality over quantity.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we still want to keep putting out episodes every week. We took our break in January, and it was great for us to take that break, to have the holidays, but then also to, like he already mentioned, restructure the podcast. But we want quality over quantity. And when we're trying to do an hour-long episode, or even longer than an hour sometimes, each week, it can be daunting. It can be difficult to record. And we also notice that some people just don't have an hour to set aside to listen to us.
Yeah.
And I understand that. I wouldn't want to listen to myself for an hour either.
Our poor wives.
Yeah, and they have to live with us. But yeah, so the podcasts are going to be shorter, 30 to 45 minutes max.
Yeah.
But we're still going to be putting out the same sort of content, and took out some things we did previously. We did not take out Cinesnacks. That is a CineBites staple.
Yeah.
We love the Cinesnacks. It's fun, and I know our viewers, it's always our most viewed and most played back segments. So we're always going to be doing that. But other than that, we're maybe changing a couple things, adding a couple things, trying to go a little bit more unscripted. If you've been listening or watching, you may notice that in the intros and outros, we usually script them. But now we are just going unscripted.
Yep.
We want to go that way. It feels less constructive, more personal. Yeah. And also that way we don't have to write the intros and the outros.
Yeah.
Less work on our end.
Saves a little bit of extra time.
It saves a little bit of extra time. But I also let us know what you think. If you preferred it structured, that's something that's really easy to switch back and forth if we wanted to, if you liked it scripted or not. But
we're doing this for you guys. So whatever you want. If you want it more scripted, that's totally fine. We can put in the time to do that. This is for y'all and y'all's entertainment. So that's why we're here, and that's why we do this. So not only do we love food and movies, we also love you guys.
Oh,
we love
snap.
our munchies.
Yep.
So we'll get right into it. If you want to go ahead and share the movie that we're going to talk about.
Yeah. So I obviously teased it in the intro. We're going into the Muppet movie. The original 1979.
And why are we doing this?
We're doing it because it's my birthday episode.
Happy birthday episode.
So the original intent was for this to be an episode that came out the week of my birthday, but then we decided to take a break for the month of January, which I think will probably be a thing we do years going down the line.
Oh, for sure.
Just because it's nice to have a little bit of a winter break.
Yeah.
But I was like, I still want my birthday episode, and so we're like, we'll just do it the first thing. So my birthday was the first week of January, but now it's the first week of February. So we're celebrating my birthday by watching the Muppet movie. I wouldn't say that the Muppet movie is one of my favorite movies, but the Muppets is one of my favorite franchises. I love the Muppets.
Yeah.
And
Classic.
And the Muppets, this is arguably not even their best movie. I like some of their other ones even more. I watched the newer one with Jason Segel probably more than I've watched this one, and that one's also really funny and really good. But there's other things like Muppet Treasure Island and Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yeah,
and was just the original Muppet Show.
Was
all
this
really
the very first movie that they came out with?
This was the original.
Okay.
This first movie. So there was the Muppet Show, of course, which was in mostly in the 70s. I don't know the year span. I think there was like 5 or 6 seasons of the show.
Let me check for you. 1976 to 1981 is when it was live.
Mid 70s to early 80s.
Yeah.
And then this movie was kind of in the middle, kind of in the peak of its popularity, honestly.
Yeah.
Of the Muppet Show. And so 1979 is when this movie came out. It's kind of interesting. This movie is like pretty like meta, and Muppets have always been that way. And so the movie starts with the Muppets sitting down at a theater at their studio to watch the private screening of the Muppet movie, which we're about to watch.
Yeah.
And so then they start watching it, but what it really is it's the Muppets recalling how they say that they have started. They got started.
Yeah.
So it's
a true origin story.
It's an origin story, but the movie it's all over the place because the Muppets are real people in the real world, but then they're also just actors and entertainers.
Right.
So this movie is a movie when they're back to no longer entertainers, but they're acting like it. So there's things like the one scene they run into the band, the man, what are they even called? Something Mayhem. I can't even remember right now.
Oops.
But they run into them, and Fozzie and Kermit are trying to explain what they're doing, and Kermit's like, we don't have time for this. People don't want to sit here for 10 minutes and describe what's already happened in the rest of the movie. And they're like, so what should we do? He's like, just give them the screenplay. Yeah. And so they give them the screenplay, and so they read through the screenplay so that everyone is caught up. And then
so it's
later in the
breaking
movie,
the fourth wall in some parts.
yeah, and then later in the
funny.
movie, when all the Muppets are down on their luck, they didn't make it to Hollywood in time because their car is gone and they're in the middle of the desert. Gonzo is singing this inspirational song. Then Kermit, after having this like conversation with himself, his internal dialogue, he comes back and the band is there with their van, and he's like, "How did you know we were here?" He said, we read the screenplay.
Yeah.
It said you guys were in the desert, blah, 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 so we showed up. It's like that kind of this movie is just chock full of stupid. It's just stupid humor. It's
good, family friendly. Like Muppets have always been known for just being very clean, kind of.
It's
viewing.
clean, but it's also like it's really more adult geared than it is because Jim Henson's kid geared thing was Sesame Street.
Yeah,
and
true.
Muppets was really a whole family thing that's entertainment for everyone.
Absolutely.
And so there are definitely some more suggestive things and different things that happen in here. But yeah, it's great, and I love the Muppets, and we should probably just go ahead and get into the food.
Absolutely. And there's a couple different things we're going to do with the food. It's still the same though. If we see it in the movie, we're going to try to imitate it. And in this movie, there is a very particular food item that we found and we made. So start off the year right with frog legs.
It's a big plate of frog legs. I already got a picture of it.
Yeah. So we got.
See that.
I seasoned the frog legs. Really, anything seafood you can have a safe bet of making it taste somewhat decent if you use Old Bay. So we seasoned it with Old Bay and some other spices, and then just cooked it up. We also have sparkling cider, which we're hoping. No, it is a screw top.
Is it really?
Oh yeah. Or I see what you're doing. Oh, okay. I was thinking it was going to be a cork, but that might. We might have that if there's like a can opener or something. Yeah, we didn't come prepared for that at least. Should have brought a bottle opener. Oh, he might get it. Go.
This is what I've done. I've done this before.
All right,
There's
go
also
ahead. Well, that could potentially break the glass too. Okay, so while you're working on that,
I don't know if this is gonna work.
We also have some barbecue sauce. It doesn't necessarily reference that in the movie.
I hear a fizz.
I hear it. It doesn't necessarily reference that, but Adam and I like sauce, so we got the barbecue sauce, so we're hoping it tastes pretty good, but we'll see. But I'm really excited about the crab legs. And did we get
crab legs?
Or sorry, about the frog legs. I'm excited about something that we're not even serving. Do we have the forks too?
They're right here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, you go ahead and start eating.
Okay.
So in the movie, the main villain is this guy. I think his name is Doc Hopper. I think pun intended. Hopper. Yeah. He's the boss or the owner of a frog leg company.
Ooh.
A frog leg restaurant. Okay, I want to try it.
You got to.
And he just stumbles upon Kermit, who is just this idyllic frog who can sing and who can dance and who's funny and can act and has these good-looking frog legs. And so...
Ooh, that's good with the sauce, too.
With the barbecue. So, the whole thing in the movie is that Kermit is trying to get to Hollywood so he can become rich and famous, and Doc Hopper is trying to capture Kermit to use him as, so that he could... right in the barbecue sauce!
Right in the barbecue sauce!
That's fine.
Oh, man.
Well, I was going to do a whole bit where I was like, you want to smell the cap? That's what they do in the movie. Steve Martin has the cameo. He's their waiter when they go to a fancy dinner.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing. And Muppets have always been really good, and Sesame Street have always been really good about his cameos. And here, you get some... Thank you, sorry. I'm trying not to touch it with my frog leg fingers. But the cameos in this are pretty impressive.
I think
as well.
Bob Hope.
Yeah,
Steve Martin.
Looking through right now. Yeah, Bob Hope, Steve Martin, Richard Pryor, Mel Brooks, another big one, Frank Oz, some older actors and actresses who are rightfully famous.
Did Frank Oz make a cameo? Because I know he does the voice from Miss Piggy and a couple other of them. But was he actually?
Yeah, he's wearing the motorcycle gear at El Sleazo Cafe. Yeah, he's the thug who wrestles Fozzie.
Okay, everybody. This is my first time ever having frog legs.
Here we go. Moment of truth. And then you can put it if you want it in the barbecue sauce. Let me know your first thoughts. And let the viewers know, too. What do you think?
It's not bad.
The best way for me to describe it, if you've never had frog legs, is it's kind of like a more...
it's like a more potent chicken.
Yeah. Yep, that's a good way to say it. Like it's like, it's very similar to chicken.
It's like if chicken were, well, I wouldn't say potent. It's more of a seafoody chicken.
Yeah,
even though it's not a seafood, it's seafood adjacent.
Yeah, this bridged the gap.
It's like between fish and chicken.
It does bridge the gap. Maybe that's where all amphibians are, just kind of, they bridge the gap of poultry.
You kind of got to get over the look of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that's the biggest thing that people are, they feel.
Just growing up, you're used to seeing chicken legs and stuff, but
yeah,
I don't see frog legs often.
And so when you look at it, you're just kind of like, oh, here, I'll show you.
Man, you're just going ham on them. I don't know if I can eat that much.
They're good.
It's not actually
really
bad.
Like these.
It's not bad at all.
No, I would eat a lot of these, actually.
Now,
and maybe I'm just hungry.
They prepare them in many different ways in the movie. Now, obviously, none of the Muppets eat them while in the movie, especially Kermit, because that would just feel wrong. But it's seen in the movie, and obviously there's the...
I'm just chowing down.
You're just chowing down on the legs. And then there's obviously the restaurant owner who serves frog legs. They have, he said there's a frog leg burger with
barbecue sauce.
A frog leg burger with a green bun. Is what he said in the commercial, and frog legs, French fried. I think I'd really like these if they were fried.
Oh yeah,
these are just baked, but they're seasoned really well, and they are still good. But
so you get more of the flavor. Mm-hmm. If you get a fried, I think you're gonna really, really enjoy it just because.
When you put the barbecue sauce on it, you lose a lot of the fishiness.
Yeah.
It honestly just tastes like chicken.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you're eating it by itself, you can definitely tell it's not chicken, but it's very similar.
I wonder if there's
in the barbecue sauce. I can't tell.
I wonder if there's any different like health benefits with frog legs. Like, are they higher in protein?
They make you very hoppy.
Yeah, they do. I gotta hop around. I'm actually. If you want to go ahead and kind of talk a little bit more inside of Muppets, I'm gonna grab a napkin real quick. But
you're leaving. I think there was some. There's some right there.
Yeah, I'll grab it.
But anyway, the Muppets are one of my favorite franchises. I always loved watching Muppet movies. Another one that I had a DVD for was the Muppet Wizard of Oz, which is funny because it always ends with, spoiler alert, because you go and find the Wizard of Oz, but the Wizard of Oz is Frank Oz.
Oh,
and
spoiler alert.
It's like yeah, spoilers. But it's it's like a meta thing. Like he's like controlling all of them because he's the puppeteer for them.
Well, and he's the perfect name for the Wizard of Oz. He's Frank Oz. He's, but yeah, and then you already mentioned the cider. We were able to open it, so I gotta taste this as well.
Yeah. So, Steve Martin is their waiter. Oh, yeah. Kermit and Miss Piggy go on a fancy dinner, and I don't know. They didn't get to the point where food came because Miss Piggy left before they got to the food. Mm-hmm. But they brought over a drink. I think they said it was sparkling wine or something, which is why we got the sparkling cider.
Yep. Which is good.
And so it's like supposed to be a fancy dinner, and Steve Martin comes out there and has the metal bottle cap and pops it off, and then he goes, "Do you want to smell the cap?"
Yeah.
And then Kermit smells it, and then he's like, "Oh," and then they pour it in the glasses, and then before he pours it in the glasses, he's like, "Would you guys like to try before I pour?" And then Miss Piggy's like, "I think we should have him try. I think that's what you have to do." So like, "Could you please taste before we have it?" So he tastes it and spits it out, and is like, "Oh, it's horrible," and then pours then the rest of them. And then, of course, we didn't get straws. That's the other thing in the movie. They're starting to drink, or they get their cups, and they're like, "Do you have straws?" Because they're puppets. They can't drink, so they just put their mouth on the straw. Anyway, this movie is just chock full of stupid puns is what it is. Mm-hmm. Muppets have always been very punny, but I also love it. It's charming, and it's funny. And there are some movies that like are meant to be comedies that I honestly don't laugh at, but I might still consider funny. But I actually found myself laughing out loud a couple of times when watching this the other day. And so like there was one point, so Miss Piggy got up to go talk to her agent in the middle of this dinner, and she doesn't come back. He ends up sitting there for like an hour. She doesn't come back, and Steve Martin comes back, and then they're talking, and then he goes and he Kermit sings the song about with the dog Ralph. It's like, you can't live with them, you can't live without them, and about women and everything.
Yeah.
And then he gets a call, and apparently Miss Piggy didn't come back because she was kidnapped by the frog leg guy, and said that he would turn her into pork chops by morning if he doesn't come. So
yeah.
And so there's this whole scene about they're gonna scramble Kermit's brains. And Miss Piggy saves them from that situation. And then as soon as they're out of that situation, and they I think they might have killed the scientist that was trying to scramble his brains. They escaped the one guy. Then Miss Piggy gets a phone call. It's my agent. A commercial, and then she hangs up the phone, and she just stands and stares at him for, I'm not even joking, like 15 seconds. And then she just was like, goodbye, and then leaves. So there's like this whole scene about, it's so emotional. She left me. Oh, she didn't actually leave me. She was just in trouble. I'm going to go save her. And then after the whole thing happened, she's like, goodbye, and then leaves. And then they pick her up on the street later on in the movie. There's just stupid, dumb things like that.
Yeah.
And then one of the first jokes in the movie that is just another dumb joke was Fozzie's working at this bar, and Kermit visits the bar. That's where they first meet. But the bar is getting crazy. None of them like Kermit or Fozzie because they didn't entertain them very well, and they were all booing him and throwing beer and tomatoes at him. And then to fool them, Fozzie put a fake beard on, and he was behind the bar, and he goes, "Everybody, drinks on the house." And then they're like, drinks on the house. And they all started leaving the bar. And I'm like, what are they doing? And then it cuts to a wider clip where there's no one in the bar left. And then it cuts to another clip of everyone standing
Just
on top of the bar.
house, yeah.
What is he talking about? There's no drinks up here. And then he finally like works every time. It's just stupid crap like that. I don't know why. I find it so funny. It's drinks on the house. There's no drinks on top of the house. But anyway.
Sorry, I made my fingers dirty again.
Yeah, that's why I used the fork.
Oh, shoot. Well, I'm just
fork.
messy, I guess. Well, I have been, but I was just trying to tear these poor frogs. They
look at it. Oh, man. It is just kind of disturbing. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, just because,
Look at that. Oh. The whole leg came off.
I feel bad, but it's
but
actually really good.
The meat does come right off the bone.
Super good, super tender. Oh, so that brings us into the kind of our new structure as far as ratings go. So we are, instead of rating separately the movie and the food, which we have done in the past, is we are going to rate them collectively. So, if it's a newer movie, a really good movie, but they have not so good foods in it. For some reason, this pops to mind. So, Old Boy, the original version and the Korean version, you could say, if you like it, Old Boy, you say this is a phenomenal movie.
But he eats the octopus.
So you would have to outweigh those. But if it's a good movie with good food, then if you're wanting to do this even at home or experience this with us, then you could say, okay, I know I'm going to enjoy good food and a good movie.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do collectively is rate this as if they're both, you're having the dinner and a movie experience.
Yeah, we wanted to make our review structure a little bit unique, rather than just rating food on a 10-point scale and rating the movie on a 10-point scale, because you'll have your opinions on the food and you'll have your opinions on the movie, but it's not often that someone's going to rate a movie and the dinner that is within that movie. So we thought it'd be unique to combine it like that. If you prefer the other way, maybe let us know, but we thought this could be a fun way to mix it up and for our reviews to be a little bit more unique.
Yeah, absolutely. So taking into consideration the drink, the food, and the movie, this is going to be our overall rating. I can go first since you started with the intro and everything. My little takeaway is Muppets will forever be a classic and iconic what would you say? Franchise, yeah, you could say franchise.
Mm-hmm.
In all of Hollywood. So anyone who is within the last 50, 60 years, everyone knows who the Muppets are.
And because of that, they have an insane pull.
Yes.
In the people that they can get.
Absolutely.
The fact that in the 70s that they're getting the biggest names of actors and comedians in the 70s.
Yeah.
And even in the 2010s when they did the Muppets movie, and even in some more recent things that aren't as good, like they have some Disney Plus shows and stuff.
Yeah. But they still have that relevance.
Yeah, they still have the relevance, and they can still get the cameos because everyone knows the Muppets and loves the Muppets.
Yeah.
And so...
And
even things like Kermit being on The Masked Singer.
Right, yeah.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, exactly. So the relevance is strong, and rightfully so. I mean, this is just an overall good, family-friendly franchise. Even though it may be geared more towards adults' humor, it's still very clean, and you can enjoy this with the entire family, and you have for decades. And with the Frog Legs in, I came in actually thinking I wasn't going to be a huge fan of Frog Legs, but I actually really enjoy this.
Yeah, I'll explain. I'll do my rating in a second. You keep going.
But I will say, with the movie, with the OG movie, with the Frog Legs, everything in place, 7.2. So,
well,
yeah. So I think, and maybe I should have went higher, but I mean, overall, I think this is me saying, if you do this with Frog Legs and while you're watching the movie, you're still going to have a good time, no matter what.
And there's so many different ways you could prepare Frog Legs, too.
Oh, yeah.
Do that. But, my review of everything, Martinelli's is one of my sparkling apple cider is one of my favorite fun drinks.
I didn't even know that.
I love getting this.
Well, I'm glad I got that.
And the other day we had we always have this at New Year's, like when you like Cheers or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But I think I accidentally bought the pear version. which is still good.
You didn't like it?
But I don't like it as much as the apple.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, this is the apple.
The
pear was good, and I honestly didn't know until afterward, and then I tried it again. And I was like, yeah. But now after having this one, I remember. But this is one of my favorite, fun drinks.
Oh yeah.
And the frog legs legitimately surprised me. I've never had them before. I had no expectations going into it. Didn't know what it was going to taste like, what it was going to be.
Yeah.
And especially because we originally talked about frying them like that was mentioned in the movie, but we decided to just end up baking them. And so I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like it because, you fry and bread anything, I'll eat it.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, if you fry and bread frog legs, I'm sure I'll be fine with it.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a little bit more of a gross seeming and visceral experience because it's all you see it all the veins and all everything because it's not covered in breading. But it actually surprised me, and I actually really liked it. And then the Muppets movie was really good. It's been a long time since I watched it, and I rewatched it for the pod. And I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would, honestly, because I thought my expectations were low because I'm like, the movie's kind of old, the comedy's kind of old, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I found it charming and punny, and the music in this movie, like, legitimately is so good. Mm. Like the Rainbow Connection song, they begin the movie with that song, and they end the movie with a different rendition of that song.
Yeah.
And a lot of the songs, like, legitimately, it's that one, and then the one that Gonzo sings, and they do a couple other of them, like, they're, like, legit, not even comedy songs. It's just, like, so moving.
Yeah, true ballads.
And so, and even Miss Piggy's song is, like, supposed to be a romantic true ballad, but she sounds horrible when she's singing, so it's just kind of funny. Anyway, I'm giving
that's
this...
Frank Oz, too. So
I'm giving this an 8.2.
Nice. That's good.
The Martinelli's is like almost a 10 drink to me. I love it. Frog legs are kind of low. But then you add the movie in there, it all kind of evens out to around an 8. 8.2. A dinner and movie experience. I would love to experience this again at some point.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Instead of doing the podcast, like making these at home and watching the movie.
Having a Muppet themed party.
I think that would be a lot of fun.
Where we watch the Muppet movies and have frog legs, and it is kind of disturbing though.
Yeah.
Let's watch Kermit the Frog and also eat his legs.
Eat his legs. Like, Kermit, you sure do taste delicious.
Yeah, you should get, especially in the barbecue sauce.
So, as we promised, we are going to keep these episodes within a timely manner. So we're actually going right into CineSnacks.
Yeah.
So after we give our dinner and a movie reviews and talk about the movies a little bit, we'll talk a little bit more about the Muppets if it comes up later. But as promised, and to be mindful and of the quality over quantity, we're going to go right into CineSnacks. We get a lot of good feedback for how we do the CineSnacks, and it allows you to play from home as well. So we're going to go straight into it. Mm-hmm. And then, so that's kind of the segue into CineSnacks. So I am going to be guessing. Mm-hmm. It's still three clues like we did last year, so nothing has changed there. Adam's going to come up with the movie. I'm going to have to try to guess it. You can guess from home. If you're smarter than me, which is most likely, you can guess it before me. But it definitely allows you all, and if you're new to the podcast, it allows you to guess along. If you can do it with 0 clues, then you're awesome, which we already know you are, but if you have yes or no questions and I narrow it down enough but need help, I'll use the clues, and then we'll go from there. And we have a punishment still. That's one thing we kept with the CineSnacks, which it seems that everyone enjoys seeing us suffer. So we're going to do that. We're going to we're going to go get right into it.
Yeah, I found my movie.
Okay.
Let me actually write down some hints real quick so that I'm not just thinking of them on the spot. I already know one. That one's too obvious.
Is it?
It is. It's way obvious.
Yeah, I do. I agree with the I do agree with the apple cider. The apple cider is really solid.
Okay. I got my 3 hints. I got my movie. Let me get the 2-minute timer up on the clock.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I do.
Did I show you guys?
I'm
Close your
look
eyes.
away.
If you can see that, that is the movie for the Cine Snack.
I will say, if you haven't tried frog legs and you do think it sounds gross, go ahead and try it. And
Just
if
try
you
it.
are more into fried foods, definitely fry it because frog legs fried I've had it when I was younger and it's actually really good.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've had it baked, so that's really
Yeah,
good.
and it's not bad.
Not terrible.
All right. I
Okay.
got a 2-minute timer on the clock. I got the movie. And
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Okay. Is it 1990s?
Nope.
1980s?
Nope.
1970s?
Nope.
Am I going the wrong way?
Yes.
Okay. 2000s.
Nope.
2010s.
Yes.
Okay. 2010s comedy.
No.
Suspenseful.
Yeah.
Is it based on a true story?
No.
Is it a sci-fi?
Nope.
Is it Disney?
Nope.
Is it based off of a book?
Ooh, I don't actually know.
Uh-oh.
I don't think so.
Okay. Is it action?
No, not really. No.
Okay. Is it thriller?
Kinda. Yeah.
Okay, so more thriller, suspenseful, and kind of comedy.
Yeah. There's comedic moments for sure.
Okay. Is
But
it?
it wouldn't be classified that way though.
Is the main person a male?
Yeah. There's a couple main people, but there is one.
Okay.
that's a
Clue.
male. Clue. The clue is poison.
Poison. Is it a cartoon?
Nope.
Second one.
Second clue is throw up or puke.
Puke. Throw up. Okay. Suspenseful, thriller, throw up. Okay. Just give me the third clue. Let's see if I can.
Third clue is rich. As in, like,
Rich.
lots of money.
Poison. Throw up. Yeah. Is the main person rich?
No.
Is it a rich family?
There is a rich family in the movie.
Are they the bad people?
Not necessarily. No.
Okay. Is there a superhero in the movie?
No.
Okay, but there's nothing sci-fi related to it.
No. Not at all.
Okay, so rich, poison.
You got
throw
15
up.
seconds.
Is there a strong female lead?
Yes.
Okay, and would she be like the one you would see on the cover most likely?
Her and then the one other guy too. They're kind
Okay.
of there's two.
You would see both of them on
You'd
there.
see both.
Okay.
Maybe more the guy.
Okay, 2010, maybe more of the guy. Is it a musical?
Time's up. By the way.
Oh.
It is not a musical. I'll
Okay,
give you
okay.
that.
Okay, so rich, poison.
I think I
throw
got you
up.
on this.
Maybe rich, poison, throw up. Rich, poison, throw up. A main guy, 2010, suspenseful thriller. But it's not sci-fi.
No.
None of it's sci-fi.
No. There's one thing that you're missing in terms of movie genre that you didn't mention that I think would help you. But I'm not going to give it to you now.
Yeah, great. Okay. Then I feel like that could have been.
Yeah.
Well, so not musical, not animated.
This could be one that we do for the pod. I think there's some food in it. That's not a
might
hint.
help.
Don't take it as a hint. I don't.
Okay.
It's not a food related movie.
And you don't think it's based off of a book?
Let me look it up.
Okay,
I don't think it is.
that might take away some of my stuff. Let's see, and it's not Disney. Huh.
No, there
Poison.
is not a book.
Poison, rich, throw up.
It is not based off of a book. It says it's loosely inspired by a number of different books
Okay,
and stories, but it's definitely not a.
Okay. This one I don't know because I don't know if it's 2010s. And I don't know if you have seen this one. Which I don't think you have, but it's my
Let's
guess.
see the answer.
Triangle of Sadness?
I have not seen that movie, and it's not right.
Darn! I
The
felt like that
movie
was close.
Is Knives Out.
Oh, yes. Yeah, and she can't lie.
She can't lie.
Otherwise
She ends up throwing up.
Oh,
I
that's
almost
such a
made one of the
good
clues knives because of the like throne that's made of knives, but I'm like, it's
Yeah.
literally in the title of the movie. I'm not doing
that's really good, and those were really good clues.
It's a good movie,
And it's hard to do because the cast is so stacked.
Yeah, and when you're asking about a main person, I consider the detective as a main person and then also the girl the main person.
Yeah.
But when you actually look at the promotional, like a lot of the posters literally have like everybody.
Yeah.
In the
But
poster.
I think it's definitely what is his name? Daniel Craig's.
Daniel Craig
character.
is the main because he's the detective
in Glass Onion
that carries
well.
on to Glass Onion.
Yeah. So okay.
But then there's Ana de Armas.
Oh yeah.
Her character is kind of the main.
Yeah.
Thing.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. No, those were really good clues. But I'll do the punishment now.
Okay. So in the Muppet movie, there's this car chase scene where they're chasing them in their car.
Okay.
Trying to catch them down, and they run into. They're trying to catch Gonzo because he's holding on to some balloons and he's flying away because he bought all these balloons.
Right.
Anyway, and he hits this billboard, and the billboard launches a giant pie, and apparently there's whipped cream on this billboard pie.
Okay.
And it hit their car, the villain's car, and it stopped them, so the Muppets got away. So you're getting pied.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
I want to make the pie live here.
Live.
It's shaving cream. I don't have whipped
Okay,
cream.
so I don't want to taste it.
So this is actually probably worse because it's shaving cream and not whipped cream.
Oh, jeez. Okay. I don't want to get my laptop. But while we're preparing this, we could also...
I don't know how much I want to do.
I could also talk a little bit about what the last thing is. And the other part, and this is just...
Oh, yeah, because you're going to be covered in pie trying to...
Yeah. So this is... I mean, the kind of behind the scenes of what goes through mine and Adam's mind is we felt like with Cinesnacks being towards the end of the episode, and it kind of is towards the end of the episode today, but we want to try to keep it in the middle so that the punishment is a legitimate punishment and that we actually have to have this for the rest of the show.
Endure it for a little bit longer.
Right. So that was kind of the mind of pushing the Cinesnacks closer to the middle, but as of right now, it's kind of towards the end. But it's fine. We'll this is new year, new us, so we're trying to hash out the details, but we'll get it. So I'll get pied, and then
I'll be easy on you.
Okay.
Because I don't want to get it on the wall.
Yeah, and I don't want to get it.
If you want to take your glasses and hat off, that's up
Should
to
I
you.
just dunk my head, or do you want to?
No, I gotta do it.
Okay, all right.
But I'm not gonna slam it though, because
Okay.
then it makes a big mess. It'll be more of a press on your face.
That works. Okay. Thank goodness I found these paper towels. All right.
Don't eat it.
Okay.
Here we go. Yes. Oh, that's awesome.
I hope I could breathe. Oh yeah. It's actually not that bad. Okay. There we go.
See,
All right.
I feel like I went easy. I didn't slam your
No.
face. I didn't want to make a mess.
It was good. I just can't really go through my nose because it'll go up
You
or
can
out.
wipe it a little bit if you need to breathe.
No, I can breathe. I can breathe through my mouth, just out my nose. So, so the last segment. The last segment. Actually, if you want to talk about it, I'll just
the last segment. We're gonna be doing kind of a thing to end off the episodes. And I think we'll kind of alternate. It might change depending on the episode, depending on what we have to do. But we want to give you guys some movie and or food recommendations.
Yes.
And so and so we're gonna kind of call it. What did we say? Oh, something that you need to digest this week.
Yeah.
What-
Do you have something that you would like to digest? Is basically this segment.
And so the segment is gonna be one of us kind of sharing something within our own lives that we enjoy, whether it's food or movie related or really anything, just to kind of build a little bit of a this Martin is making me burp. So that we can get a little bit of a connection with you guys. And also, there's a lot of movies out there and a lot of movies that we can't cover on the pod.
Yeah.
And so to give you recommendations for movies that we may not do for episodes.
Yeah.
Or maybe some food or something that we had tried recently that we want everybody else to enjoy with. So
Yeah, so one I do want to share. I actually had a couple. I'll just go ahead and talk about the couple. So so one is it's from last year and it had a huge hit because it broke a lot of records. If you feel some type of way about it, it is what it is. But the movie, I think, as a whole, is actually pretty good movie. and that's the Barbie movie.
Oh,
So
I've not seen it yet.
So it's actually, believe it or not, it's actually pretty good. And we toyed around with the idea of even doing this and reviewing it on the show.
We still might.
And we might. It's just the food and drinks that they have aren't real. So they're just like fake doing all the stuff. Which
we could eat plastic on the show.
Yeah, yeah. So that's one I would recommend seeing. Obviously, go in with an open mind. I think that's the thing. A lot of people try to politicize. Is that how you this movie? And I think really just go in and watch it for what it is. If you like it, that's cool. If you don't, that's cool. It's totally preference.
It's hard to take you serious. Right?
Yeah,
you don't see what you look like.
Yeah, but I think but that's a fun one to watch. The other one is I watched more recently Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League on Max.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. It's 4 hours long, so we're having to take it into parts because they added 2 hours of extra content to the movie. But I'm currently in the middle of watching that, and I'm enjoying it. When you watched it, did it change your screen at all? Like, does it?
Yeah, they did it. He did it in a what is it? 4:3 perspective. Yeah, that was just a design choice.
Oh, okay. So that was purposely
and isn't it in black and white?
One version of one version of it is. You can do it's like something gray, but this one is not. The Zack Snyder cut you don't have to
so
watch
the original version has the much wider screen, and then this one they shrunk the screen down.
Yeah.
To like the kind of the old almost square shaped screen. It's a little bit of a rectangle, but pretty much square.
Yeah.
I guess that's just a design choice. I also think that the movie was shot to be able to do wide framing like it was in the theatrical release. But I think the way that the director framed a lot of the shots, they were all supposed to be center framed because I think that was his original idea.
Oh, okay.
But then they brought it wide open. So a lot of the things are in the middle because that's the way that they shot it, so that when it cropped out. So I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's kind of why they did that, because it was his original vision to do something like that as kind of a design style choice. But then they released it with the widescreen cut, and so there's a lot of like nothing going on the sides.
Yeah, and I'm actually liking it a lot better than the original release because one, there was a lot of ambiguity with some of the characters, like Cyborg, and especially, and I don't want to nerd out too much, but I think it does a good job of filling in those gaps. So I actually recommend watching that over the original.
Oh, 100%.
And I think a lot of people agree with me on that.
I don't even know if I've seen the original, but I saw the extended director's cut, because everyone was saying the original was just horrible and blah 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 blah, but then the extended cut came out and they're like, this is actually pretty good, you need to go see it. So yeah, I did see that one, and it is pretty good.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we were talking about when it comes to digest, is just, if you want to see a recommend or a movie we recommend, or we could even do books, we could do shows. Whatever, music. We'll throw these recommendations at the end of all of the episodes. But that's pretty much how we're going to wrap it up. We're going to leave you with those to digest. Thank you for joining us. As always, you can check us out on all platforms, podcast platform, or at least most podcast platforms, YouTube, all of those, and then be sure to follow us on Instagram, like and subscribe. For now,
we will see you next week.
Yeah.
On the next episode, you'll have to see what movie we're doing next.
Yep.
So bon appetit and happy viewing.